Welcome to the full moon eclipse energy for Blue Path this June. So I want to keep this as quick as I can, so it's just a really simple touch base for you and what you can expect to experience for this eclipse, this full moon energy. And so this is all happening here, I think June 5th. Oh my gosh, I hope that's right. And so for you, Blue Path, what you're coming from, again, just a small little recap. Blue Path was all about your mastery this month is learning how to shift from your foundation being this projection of what you're building, what you're creating yourself for yourself, without it's stopping projecting it, and stop trying to grab what isn't there. And how do you manifest right now? How do you get anchored into this moment? How do you get so present that everything is happening right here, right now? So we're pulling all of your energy out of where it's locked in, held in, connected outside of you, and bringing it all back into this moment. And that is the mastery for you this month. And so that's what you're really aligning to. And then this beginning of the month, this new activation that comes in through the full moon and the eclipse is all about kindness. And so Blue Path, this means, how do you think and then act in a way that manifests what you want, right? Because we need you need to be operating and firing on all cylinders. It's I think it, I sense it, I feel it, and then I act on it. And it's that easy. And so instead of getting stuck in any one thing, instead of getting stuck in your emotions, instead of getting stuck in your thoughts, instead of getting stuck on old things that aren't manifesting, that aren't working for you in this physical, how do you stay, think, sense, feel, act, and then create, right? And that for you is about this kindness towards the self. It's about knowing if I'm thinking it but I'm not feeling it, it's not meant to happen right now. If I'm feeling it but I don't know what I'm supposed to do, maybe I don't do it right now, right? And so it's about remembering that you're a whole multidimensional being. And I know that's a big word, but it just means that you're operating on so many different levels and layers. And so this is the mastery for you, and having kindness towards the fact that this is new. You haven't you maybe have come from a bit of a paradigm where you tend to get stuck. A 24-hour cycle, you're stuck in the emotional body, or 5 hours you're really stuck on doing a project that you didn't have energy to do, but you did it anyways, right? So you're coming from this paradigm of I'm doing it because it's in my human, it's a linear timeline, it's something I need to do, and we're getting you out of that. We're starting to teach you how to live multidimensionally. And this is going to take a lot of kindness, because with kindness energy and what's shifting for you during this eclipse, it's all about knowing that if you think it, feel it, sense it, and then act on it, it's going to happen. But it's going to happen in its own way, and there has to be, you think it, feel it, sense it, and then act on it. And it might not quite turn out how you think, but it's going to turn out how it needs to if you were feeling it on all of those levels. And so this is really a reworking, a retooling of everything, and kind of really retraining you on how to live multidimensionally. And so the eclipse energy, right? Eclipses always shake the crap out of what's happening in your reality. It's like looking in the closet and seeing, holy crap, there's 24 skeletons I have not cleared out. Eclipse energy just brings in shocking news, shocking surprises, revelations we didn't know, and full moon as well. Full moon always illuminates something that we didn't quite understand, or it could be bringing illumination to the darkness, right? And showing us some of the kind of hidden things, those cobwebs or those skeletons in the closet again. So really, what's happening here to get you, we're going to review through the 12 astrological signs. We're going to review what's happening right now during this full moon eclipse energy that's really keeping you in alignment to the mastery of this month, which is the mastery of this month is really how to operate on all cylinders multidimensionally, to stay present and to know and trust that in this present moment, everything is potential and aligned to my truth, my purpose. So that's your mastery. 1 month, that's all we need to master that multi-dimensional living. And then the new activation that's coming in is really teaching you how to have kindness towards yourself as you learn and calculate and explore through this new process. Okay, so we're going to start with Capricorn. Capricorn, the eclipse energy, what it brings in and highlights for you, the eclipse and the full moon. It's a manifestation of progress. Basically, you're headed. It says you're headed in the right direction, and basically the foundation that you're creating is really aligned to the energy you're feeling and processing. And so this is all about moving forward. But this too also indicates a linear timeline. So I would tell Capricorn. So I just remind you, it's good you came in right off of the beginning script, because I tell you that, you know, your potential pitfall here is getting stuck in a linear timeline again, is going back to projecting and having an outcome. You know, progress energy is all about knowing what you're building and then a straight beeline energy, full steam ahead to get to it. And you know, that's great if every single day, every single moment you think it, you feel it, you sense it, and you act on it, and all those things feel right through everything you're doing. But this is really about remembering that it's not about sending all of our energy towards that outcome. It's about holding connection to the outcome and then allowing yourself to think, feel, act, and sense into every day, every moment, every decision, so you're making the best choices to keep you on the most highest aligned path. And so your eclipse and moon energy really comes into to give you kind of a warning and saying that you might be on the right path, but you might also be going full steam ahead and not remembering that you're supposed to be, every single decision you make, every single action you put energy towards, that all of those things, you have to feel like you want to do it. You have to have clear thought form of what you want to do. You have to really be clearly sensing into where you need to go or how this needs to do interact with you, and then act on it. Like, all of these things have to be in alignment each and every moment you kind of put full steam ahead to that end goal. Otherwise, you're literally just on a linear timeline that will probably have you achieve that goal, but it might be a limitation of the expansiveness that you were moving into. And I'll just add a note here that the limitation is that if you are thinking it, plot pointing it, moving towards it, not feeling or listening to anything else, you're literally in the rabbit hole of a physical experience. We call this, we would call you the person who is the hamster on the hamster wheel of life, that is running, but like everybody else sees you running, but you're just spinning and spinning and spinning. You're not actually expanding as you move forward on that linear timeline. And so nobody wants to be the hamster on the hamster wheel. So that will be where kind of the things shift out for you. Again, eclipses bring in huge surprises, huge changes, huge awarenesses, right? Shocking things. And I think this is all about you getting kind of back into that projection, that heady mentality again, and kind of doing what you want to do without recognizing all these other energies that are trying to get you to experience the path in a different way. Okay, so that's you, Capricorn. We're going to move to Aquarius. So Aquarius energy is disassociation. That means you've pulled back from trusting. And what this is again, it's a projection. Like, you've been questioning too much. You've been really contemplative. You've been, you know, is this my purpose? Is this what I'm supposed to be doing? It's a lot of these like big questions of, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? And so blue path for you, Aquarius, really, as everything's shifting and transitioning, this is the like, it's not counterintuitive. This is the opposition energy to what you're supposed to be feeling right now, which is like kindness towards the self in the process. Basically, what's happening for you and the energy that you've chosen to walk in this blue path is about allowing yourself to walk in a new way, to experience life in almost an unknown, new kind of like human suit. It's like you're acting, you're making decisions daily, but you're also feeling into it. You're also playing into the new thought forms. And like, maybe I go left instead of right today down the street. You know, do I feel good about eating this or do I not feel good? You know, it's like really getting fine-tuned and calculating into all these little micro choices we have that help us make the bigger decisions. And so there is this for you, it's this questioning, you know, and it's not about, I think, living kind of this multidimensional life, you know, and really thinking, feeling, acting, and sensing into all these things. For you, it's about, you know, I think you've gotten back into bigger picture, and because you're walking blue path, it means you've really shifted into this new energy and living in a really grounded, present way. And here, when you're so present, you can't hold on to any one ideal for too long, because it literally will dissolve. Once you grab it, it's already changing and morphing into something new. And so what this is doing, it's having you question. You feel like you have it and you can see what you're building, and then it's like poof, it's already gone and changing into something new. And this has your mind, it's like a total mind screw for you. It's like you're just totally questioning every time you think you got it. It's like, oh my God, this has already changed again. And so for you, this is about remembering that right now, especially right now, I'd have to assume this eclipse energy and the full moon energy probably has something else dissolving underneath your feet. And you're like, well, there we go again. It has you distrusting and like trying to understand, well, if that wasn't it, what is it? You know, you're projecting out into the future to understand it again. And for you, this is the pattern, and you need to right now, like your entire first few weeks of this month, it's going to be about having kindness, walking the path. It's literally act as if you're walking as a blind person right now. You are walking the path and have no clue where you're walking. But just trust that whatever you're doing, wherever you're walking, as long as one foot is going in front of another and you're waking up every day and going to sleep every night, and then waking up the next day, that literally that is the best you can do to start to operate on and fire off of all cylinders. Because for you right now, it's really just about learning how to pull back, not needing to know, not projecting, not getting confused, not getting into that whole ordeal. Just having kindness towards the fact that you're a human doing this every day, and just like having kindness to the fact that what you think, what you feel, what you sense, that just having kindness towards this crazy process. The more you can lock into self-forgiveness and kindness, the more this next part of the path is going to unfold, and the more you're going to start to understand what it means to stay in the flow and live kind of multidimensionally. Okay, so that is Aquarius. Oh, I'm doing blue path really slow. Okay, so the next one is Pisces. Okay, my Pisces friends. So Pisces, you're manifesting. Holy crap, your mind, you probably had a little bit of a slowdown, right? And now it's like, well, there goes that break. It's like you have a billion things in your mind again. And here we go. Here's the test. You're being tested. Can you have your mind explode with so much potential yet again? So many projects, so many opportunities, so many things coming in, all these little thought forms coming in. And it's like, okay, Pisces, are you going to be able to do this multidimensionally? Let's see. It's like Divine's giving you 101 options. And it's going to be like your typical pattern is, yes, I can do all of that. Yes, I will do all of that. And I'll get it all done by 5 o'clock today. That is literally this hyper root chakra energy that you're mastering, right? Which is, we don't want to be projecting ourselves into the future. What you need to do is learn how to live multidimensionally. And how do you do that? You've got to think it, feel it, sense it, and then act on it. And that means all of the bodies have to be aligned for any of these thought forms that you're being connected to right now to have weight, to be supported in this present moment. And so your eclipse energy is literally a test. It's like, here you go. Here's 1,000,001 awesome ideas and opportunities. Are you going to do it? Are you going to just create 101 linear timelines out there and 101 trajectories that lead you to no man's land? Are you going to wait to see what you think, what you feel, what you sense, and then what you can do right now, and then make that be the thing you do. And instead of doing all these timelines that go this way, bring it through your entire system, anchor it into the earth where it's weighted, where it has a hold, so it can actually grow into something. So this is you, Pisces. And it's really about connecting that heart into the mind. It's needing to stay really heart-centered, and just think about that again with linear options, all the mental options, as long as you can bring it all in here and have kindness towards the human process, that what you think and you act on, you know, and having that joy, keeping the kindness, the joy, the vibration that the human needs to give a lot of, how it was explained to me in some way that I'm feeling, but I can't pick up the words right now. But it's like the human, you know, the human at this level gets to choose how it wants to play. And like, do you really want to produce 101 things that really have no meaning to you? Or do you want to wait to see what feels right and then act on that and make that be a joyous experience that you get to manifest? Okay, so that's you, Pisces. Now on to Aries on the blue path. So Aries on the blue path, you are in obsession energy, and it's obsessiveness, and this is in connection, it's sacral chakra obsession, which means there's a connection between you and somebody else here. And so this is interesting. So I'd say your eclipse energy is going to come in heavy, heavy, heavy with somebody else. Probably a partner. That's usually the first line of defense I go to. But it could be another, it could be a friend, a boss, a coworker. It could be something like this, but you are really entangled energetically right now. And how you know who you're entangled with is, who do you go to sleep thinking about? Did I say it right? Did I do it right? What are they thinking? What are they feeling? You know, oh my God, what's happening? If your mind, whoever your mind is like constantly thinking about and trying to understand and analyze right now, that's who you are actually energetically connected to in this physical reality. And what this does is it intertwines your path. You're literally walking the path of, it's making you so confused. Okay, so here's what happens. Let me backtrack all that. What happens here is when you are this intertwined with somebody else's energy, you are doing things, you are producing things, you are making choices right now that are not only, it's not just about you. You're making choices based off of somebody else's energy. And so it's like doing the work of two people, but you're also allowing their path to overlay your path. And what that means is you're not doing this work for you. You're not right now moving forward in a way that is serving your highest good. You're actually moving forward in a way that is intertwined with somebody else, which means at some point those energies are going to have to separate, which means the only way typically energy gets handed back to us is through disappointment, separation, disconnection, all of these kind of, it usually has to happen in a negative way. And so your eclipse energy, I would have to say the shocking surprise is probably going to come with some kind of disappointment, some kind of this person giving you your energy back. You've been so intertwined with their path, and your path has been so intertwined that again, it has to separate. You have to come back into your authentic alignment. And so your eclipse energy, the big shocking surprise, you're probably going to get, it's going to be one of those gut checks, because this person is going to do something, say something, be a certain way, and it's going to be totally out of the blue. And so just look for, I'd say within the full moon, I think is on the 5th, or, sometime within these beginning teens of the month, this is going to happen. And it's happening to you because this person energetically has to give you the energy you've invested into them and been pouring into their path. It has to all come back to you here so that you can realign and get back into your own thinking, feeling, sensing, and calibration to move forward. And so just know that when this happens, it's the best thing that could have happened, because you were literally doing the work of two souls, and none of that work was going to manifest in the way you wanted it to. So this is divine handing you all of that energy back so it can be all focused back on you again. And through this, you have to remain in that joy vibration, having kindness towards you, the self that has to go through this, and have to deal with that disappointment or that disconnection, however it happens. Okay, so, who are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're on 1, 2, 3, 4. We're on Taurus. Okay, so Taurus energy. Taurus, you are in a manifesting cycle, which is pretty cool. So this is all about your foundation and connection to your purpose. And so the full moon energy and the eclipse energy is going to bring up some really big shocks and some big surprising things. So sometimes we manifest things that we in the time think it could be not so good. We manifest situations, outcomes, people into our lives that really, it's shocking. It could be scary. It's shocking. It's, it makes you not feel so good. And yet those manifestations can sometimes expand you into the next level, that next piece of the puzzle that you needed. And so for you, I think the eclipse, just because this eclipse is ushering in so much charged energy, I almost feel like this is you. It's like you have to go through whatever this is to allow that next unfolding, because what it's saying is that in essence you are in a huge manifesting flow, but you're going to have to go through whatever this rocky, shifty density is. You're going to have to allow this to come in. So you're going to manifest something that doesn't seem pleasant, but that in hindsight you'll look at and go, oh my God, that was the one thing I needed to blow everything open and like really give me all the energy I needed to move forward. So for you, the goal here is your master, or the new beginning. What's activating in you is the kindness. And this is about having kindness towards how you walk the walk, and how your mind wants to think certain things, but then how you act through it. And so it's really about staying in check. I feel like whatever is going to happen, it's going to appear negative in the beginning, but it's going to have a total flip, and it's going to serve you so well. So if you can stay in that kind of kindness vibration, if you can stay grounded, if you can stay kind of connected here, I think this is going to be a lot easier than if you were to really allow this to shake your world. Because it'll take you longer to come back to center, where if you can know that when this like big kind of energy comes in and shocks you and really kind of, it's like, oh my God, what just happened? When that happens for you right here within the next 10 days, when that happens, if you can just stay cool, stay calm, and stay in that even vibration, it's going to very quickly transition into the thing that propels you. And it's manifesting. I mean, this is your purpose and alignment to your foundation. So this is really bringing in the next step you needed to get you where you're going. Okay, so the next one is going to be Cancer. Nope, it's not. It's Gemini. Okay, so the next one's going to be Gemini. And Gemini here on the blue path, again, kindness energy is what's awakening within you. And so it's about how you walk your walk and talk your talk based off of all these thoughts you're coming into this with. And so you've really transitioned from the beginning of the month, where you're projecting and wanting to create something for yourself and having this idea. Again, I feel like you're probably the dream boarder, or the person who created the landscape, the canvas, the business plan, and really set an intention towards what you're working for. We've come in now in June and said, okay, you have that established. Now, how do you get there? Is you have to expand. You have to go multidimensional. You have to really be in the present moment and allow yourself to feel into the flow of how to get to that point, because it's not just a straight path. You have to operate through all these levels and layers. And so for you, the eclipse energy brings in an ability to co-create, to understand that everything outside of you is a reflection of what's going on inside of you. So the eclipse brings up shocking surprises, illumination from the full moon, right? You're really going to get to see where some of these patterns of the mind have density or maybe have been a bit out of alignment. And so in co-creating energy, what happens, Gemini, is that you get to glimpse, you get to see that everything outside of you is a reflection of everything you've been processing inside. And so for you, this is really a great time to get very clued into what is in my external landscape that's not right. So the eclipse is going to shift things to the surface that you go, I really don't like how I feel when that person comes in. I don't like this part of my business. I don't like, you know, feeling that way after I eat that food. It's like you're going to have these moments where during this kind of shift energy, you're going to really see things outside of you that you've patterned that no longer serve what you want to experience and where you want to go. And so what you're going to recognize through these things that kind of shake to the surface is that you've created this, and you're going to get to understand the pattern internally that has created this external reality. And so you're in this co-creation mode during this eclipse, which means you're really getting to calculate in and become a witness to the fact that you have things in your reality right now that aren't serving you. And I think you're going to get the indication of the pattern, that non-physical energy you've been running that actually made that come to pass, that made that happen in your physical reality. So you're going to get this really cool ability, that doesn't sound right, but you're going to have this really great ability, this eclipse, to change those internal patterns, that internal vibrational resonance that attracted those things to you that you don't like anymore. And so you're doing this like really deep fine tuning of your non-physical inner landscape to make sure those patterns and those things you don't want a part of your physical reality anymore wipe themselves out, so that what you're aligning to is this ability to be in that energy and feel very clearly and feel really connected to everything you're experiencing, which will then manifest what you've been intending to manifest. Okay, so the next person we're going to review is Cancer. And so Cancer, you're manifesting lots of synchronicities. Your mind is going to be so connected to your purpose. So this is really interesting because what you come from is this projecting into the future of what you're building, where you're going, all of these kind of linear timelines, and what that means is all of these linear potentials, human potentials, right? Linear, think of it as like walking a path. If you walk the same path every day, what you get is the experiences of that path. Now, if you change paths and you walk a different path that day, you get the experiences of that new path. Now, if you live multidimensionally, you get to feel and play into all the experiences of every path while you stay centered. Yet what you do is you feel into, not, this path over here doesn't feel too right. This path over here doesn't feel so good. Ooh, this path feels good. When you can stay centered and expand yourself to all of the potentials, all of these linear paths that you could potentially take in one day, what you do is you stay really grounded into the fact that I can feel, and if it feels right, if I'm thinking it and it feels right and I sense into it and then I act on it, that this is going to be the greatest alignment. So for you, what's coming in at this eclipse energy is so many synchronicities right now happening around you. I feel like this is an influx of energy that's saying you are firing on all cylinders. You are operating in a multidimensional landscape, because people who experience synchronicities are literally living centered and picking up on all of the connections, all of the symbolic connections, all of those kismet things that happen to get you to constantly realign and pick the best path that then gets you to the next moment or experience. And so for you, this energy, I would say, is going to come up, the eclipse energy, which brings in shocking revelations, and the full moon energy. I really feel like you're in a really sweet spot where you are just, again, firing on all cylinders is the great way to put it. So here, because eclipses and full moons tend to really just rock our world with new information, new insights, shocking news, shocking revelations. I want you to know that what you've been experiencing and what you will continue to experience, because this is the energy you're weaving in right now, you are very connected to all the synchronicities happening around you to get you to stay centered so you can stay operating in this multidimensional landscape. And so for you, the challenge is going to be, or not the challenge, but for you, the potential is, can you hold that? Can you stay in connection to the synchronicities when things, density, or things start to shift around you that maybe don't seem like they've been aligned to your path or like they're for your highest good to experience? If something comes to the surface that's a bit dense, you know, can you be in that situation and still see and feel and sense into how to navigate when things aren't pleasant? Because you've been doing this, I feel like, in a really pleasant atmosphere, and now things are starting to get a bit denser. And just as we walk through this dark night of the soul with what's transitioning on a world stage and what's transitioning, then that reflects back to our internal reality, and it's bringing up all these inner things with the eclipse and the full moon. And so as these things start to come out in your personal reality, the test for you is going to be, can you feel into, see into, sense into, and then act on those synchronicities when they're not so fun, right? When it's a bit slower, when it's a bit denser. And so that's what's coming in for you, Cancer, during this eclipse energy. Okay, so Leo on the blue path, you are manifesting clear intuition. So this is the greater perspective of the situation. So you have had, you've probably, the eclipse energy has probably already come in. You've probably been having a lot of, shifting density. You've probably been moving through all those surprises, shocking news, crazy revelations, interesting occurrences, like dense things popping up to the surface, like whoop, thought I cleared that, but guess that still needs healing. It's like these things that just, it's like the mole, the whack-a-mole. It's like you've been whack-a-moling life probably for a little while now. And so what's happening here in this eclipse energy and the full moon energy is, you are at the peak of the mountain. You are able to see through the density, through the fog, and you are able to kind of bring yourself out of everything that keeps popping up to try and take you down, and you're able to now stay elevated out of it, which is really great. You're manifesting that potential, which means get ready, buckle up, because there's still more to come, right? This eclipse energy and all of this full moon, it's still bringing in more. Like, you feel like you've been doing this. Nope, it's still coming. And so just know that you're here and you have the capacity to stay here. But what you need to do is remember that it's about you. It's about the human journey. It's about seeing, sensing, feeling, and then acting when needed. And so if it feels right and you see it clearly and then you can act on it, do it, because everything's in alignment. If one of those things is out, do not move forward, because that in essence is going to derail you from everything that you've kind of been able to elevate yourself out of. So that's Leo. Next, we're going to go to Virgo. So Virgo, how interesting. Virgo in red and blue path is guilt energy. Virgos are just swarming in the guilt this eclipse energy. So Virgo, again, I'll say it kind of just like I did on the red path, but it's going to have a little bit of a different spin. I think here it's going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Virgo, you're dealing with guilt during this eclipse energy and the full moon energy, which means it's either self-imposed guilt or it's guilt imposed by somebody outside of you. So when you're encountered with guilt energy, what it's doing is it's trying to take your power away. It's trying to take you out of the authentic flow that's serving your highest and greatest good. If it's done outside of you, it's somebody else. It's usually through manipulation. They try and manipulate you to have you question your choices, have you question where you're headed, have you question all of these things that you're choosing to do with your time, your energy. And so they do that either knowingly or unknowingly. But what it does is it creates a cord of connection between you two. And so you become literally a power source to fuel this other person and their ego or what they're trying to do. And this is what we consider like energetic vampires in this non-physical reality. And so people unknowingly do this to other people all the time. They will energetically attach to them through manipulation, through using guilt in these different power plays so that their energy can be fueled, right? And so for you, Virgo, this is coming in really, really strongly. And this is probably what's going to be shifting to light during the eclipse and the full moon. And so for you, it's a remembrance that when something doesn't feel right, and if this is self-guilt, self-imposed guilt, or externally imposed guilt, no matter what way, if something doesn't feel right, you do not need to do it. And this is how you recalculate. This is how you come back to center during the kind of chaos and confusion energy that the eclipse is going to usher in. And so it's remembering that what you're supposed to be aligning to this full moon is the kindness towards yourself. You need to be an advocate for yourself here. And so it's literally saying if something doesn't feel right, because manipulation and guilt always trigger you in the emotional body. You will feel it way before you understand what's happening or act on whatever the person's trying to impose or whatever your own psyche is trying to tell you. And so you will feel it. Something will not feel right. And so this eclipse energy is really teaching you how to navigate this feeling landscape so that you can, again, the mastery for you this month is learning how to live multidimensional and learning how to live through all levels and layers of being in the present moment. How do you exist in the present moment, right? And so really, again, it's teaching you how to deal with all these external stimuli. So the eclipse energy, although it's going to be kind of a negative thing that comes up for you, it's really a beautiful thing because it's going to teach you how to trust yourself, how to have kindness towards yourself, and say no, or when something doesn't feel right, push it away, say no to it, and reclaim, realign to yourself. So this eclipse energy is really all about you, and the new moon, full moon energy is all about you. Okay, so Libra, you are manifesting the ability to adapt, which sounds fantastic for an eclipse energy, right? That's like, oh, SHIT, what is going to happen? That I'm being asked to be adaptable, and I'm going to have to be the one that surrenders and does what they say, right? So that's kind of the energy here. It's about giving a little bit of yourself, giving a little bit to gain a lot is what it is. So the eclipse energy, the surprising shock, whatever it is, it's probably going to be initiated by something outside of you. Most definitely. This is interesting because you're tapping into a unity consciousness here. And what that means is you're probably really roped into what's going on the world stage. And so I don't know, you could either be somebody who other people look to for inspiration. You could be somebody people go to for encouragement, or they want your wisdom, or you could just be somebody who has such a big heart that people trust, confiding in. There's something about you that is really connected to what's going on in the world right now. And I think people are seeking you out to really get your guidance and feedback. And so it's really interesting because where you find yourself in this is you have a passion, you have a real deep, desperate passion towards what's happening in the world right now. And what this is asking you to do during the eclipse energy, it's having you be really adaptable. And I think this is not only energetically, because you're so connected into the vibration of what's happening that you're actually picking up, and the eclipse is probably going to show you that you're picking up on the vibrational output of the human collective. And so what this means is you are having to feel into, sense into what's mine and what's yours, what's mine and what's yours. And so I think think you are probably Libra, having to constantly, well, again, balance, right? You're constantly trying to have to figure out how to balance yourself in amongst everything you are picking up on and processing. You're literally a conduit, Libra, and I think you are being, at least more so than any other sign I've seen, you are really being called as a vessel to channel. So there's probably a lot non-physically that you have to learn or go through. You might just be at this level where you need to realize how sensitive you are to the human collective and the human, the human journey. But it's really finding adaptability, being able to adapt to situations, being able to adapt physically and non-physically to what you're picking up on and going through. Also, those people that are calling on you to help, to ask for your guidance or wisdom or support or whatever it is, connection. Again, it's a lot of things. It's like not only do a lot of people want a piece of you right now, but it's like you're also giving yourself away to the bigger piece of the humanity puzzle right now. And so there's a lot of this exchanging of energy. And so I think the eclipse is really highlighting just how sensitive you are to all of these energetic connections. And so, watch your physical health, watch your physical health here and your energy level, your stamina. Again, what is mine and what is yours? And so you can be connected to this energy, but you also need to know how to rebalance yourself and know when you're walking your path and when you're walking a path that's leading to nowhere. So you can tap into this and give your support and give your healing energy and your love, but you also need to, when you come back to self, realize who self is and make sure you're not picking any of that back up and processing it as your own energy. Okay, so the next one is Scorpio. So Scorpio here in the full moon and the eclipse energy, you're manifesting awareness. And so Scorpio, you're being asked to use your voice in a really, really present way. And so I feel like the eclipse energy is going to come up for you, and it's going to there's going to be something that triggers you. There's going to be something that just automatically you react to. It's going to be very verbal. You've probably been thinking about it forever. And now it's like something happens, series of events happens, triggers you, and you just say it without even pulling it through any kind of filter. And so for you, this is all about learning how to create space, create awareness in the moment that's needed, but also it's about being so present and such a clear vessel for what's needed that when you're called to, you're going to be able to express yourself in a way that might feel out of your element, that might feel like it's oh my gosh, after you say it or after you're called to say it, you go back in and you're like, oh my gosh, was that okay? Did I say that right? How did they interpret that? This is going to be probably a new thing for you. I feel like you're probably really calculated a lot of the time, and at least that's the energy you're coming from, right? Is last month you had to manifest a lot of courage, be your own advocate. This month you're learning how to work with manifestation energy, being present, how to be present and pull in all of these energies that are needed. And so now that you're kind of on this path, it's like, well, you're here. You did it. You're like pulling these energies in, and what's needed right now is a clear way forward. And it's going to be your voice is going to be the tool that literally clears the density from whatever's happening, and your voice is going to open everything up to allow you to see where you need to go. And it's going to clear the way for anybody else too who hears your words and is privy to what you're saying. Like, it's going to give them new awarenesses. And so it's a really beautiful way as you're navigating how to walk in presence, how to walk in a really grounded way, which is thinking, seeing, sensing, hearing, feeling, and then acting. As you're learning how to walk multidimensionally, you become this clear channel that then boom can just understand and clear a room, almost clear a situation, a dense situation, using your voice, because you're just a conduit, a channel for whatever is needed to bring awareness in that moment. And so your eclipse and full moon, I think, is going to bring in some situations that that catch you off guard, and you just you blurt something out, and it literally reforms, you know, what people were thinking, how people were acting. I think your voice is going to be this really cool tool in the present moment to really create awareness that was not there before. Okay, Sagittarius, last sign on the blue path. Okay, so Sagittarius, you are having a massive release. Sorry, this has a lot of heavy energy in it. This is a very human energy. This is about having a dark night of the soul, having a massive, transformation is too little of a word here. This is literally an evolution, which is like a burning down and a rebuilding. Too little of a word here. This is literally like, I'm going to just go super extreme here, and forgive me for painting this picture, but this is the energy that I can put. This is the visualization I can put onto the energy I'm feeling for what you're going to get triggered by for this eclipse and this full moon. It is like a depossession. I feel like there's a part of you that is going to be exorcised and literally ripped from you, so that the soul essence of you can come back and reintegrate. And so I'm sorry to put it that way, but I feel like this eclipse energy, out of everything I've read, out of 24 aspects now, you have the most intense path. And I say awesome, like, God, yes, let's bring it on. Because when you sign up for a release like this, a release of this intensity, which is, you know, whatever the shocking surprise, I feel like it's just gonna, the picture of your life is gonna get torn right down the middle. And sorry for saying it, but I find that energy the most beautiful, because you know, the quick rip, although it can be the most energetic and intense, whoosh, when your life is ripped in half that quickly, wherever it's going to happen, you know, can happen absolutely anywhere. It can be from the smallest little thing to a really big thing, but wherever you get ripped in half during this eclipse, this full moon, it's like, yes, you have been calling this in. It is time. That part of whatever is being ripped apart, shredded apart, exorcised, had to go. It has to go. It has to be gone, because how you need to walk forward is in alignment to your purpose, your truth, your essence, and that is what you're gaining. It's like the Little Mermaid, sorry for my Disney reference, but Ariel and the Little Mermaid, how they take her voice box out and it's like a little orb of golden light. When it comes back, it's like, oh, and that's what happens. That's what's happening to you. That's exactly, I'm sorry if you don't know that movie, but it's like, that is exactly what's happening. This part of your soul that was missing is coming back to you through whatever has to rip apart for you during this eclipse. And it's going to be, it's like a Band-Aid though. It's going to be, whoosh, it's going to be in and out, and you're going to just be like, what? And so, you know, to remember to have kindness towards your path this month, you know, what is activating inside of you is like how I interpret it. It's like I invite chaos into my life as much as I can, because I know out of chaos comes complete transformation, and in complete transformation you become the next new iteration of self that gets to walk a totally new experience in life, and that is what's happening. And so to have kindness towards yourself, to try and find the underlying happiness, joy vibration here, or trying to just see it as a blessing instead of maybe a curse. And I know I'm using extremes again to paint a picture. It doesn't have to be that extreme, but you get what I mean, hopefully. And so just to trust in what happens over the next week, because this is what's needing to happen to really get you into a state of receptivity where that next piece of your authenticity can come in, and you can really, really navigate this rest of June in a really present way, where you are now locked into the truth of you and what you're here to create. So I'm so thankful for you joining me, and I look forward to seeing everybody at the new moon towards the end of the month. With light and love.
The Chakras Root to Crown Oracle deck is a tool designed to help people connect to their soul destiny. As humans, we live a birth to death cycle, yet as a soul, our existence is infinite. In each human life, our goal is to learn and connect to our authentic self. We seek guidance when we are repeating patterns and feel blocked from our purpose. This oracle deck breaks down a human's chakra system and uses that information as a roadmap. Each chakra contains physical, emotional, and spiritual information to navigate a clear path towards authenticity and awakening. By gathering perspective with a reading, you will gain soul-level wisdom. These insights bring depth to your spiritual journey and dissolve the blocks, unveiling your highest potential. Take the next step by selecting your layout and explore a reading today.